Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. It's nearly time for the fourth test match, the deciding test match. A lot at stake here. India versus England. England are out of the World Test Championship, but I think they'll be eager to win this game and go home with a draw with pride at stake. India, on the other hand, need a draw or win going into this test match to qualify for the World Test Championship. We saw a rank turn in the last game. I don't know what's going to happen this game. I have with me, as usual, my co-host, Aziz. What's up, bro? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you so much. Just excited for the next test match. I don't know whether it was a mixture of the pink ball. Of course, there was issues with the pitch, a lot of complaints and everything. But how are you looking at this test match, fourth test match? Do you see any changes? Do you think it's going to be a flat wicket or turner? Let's talk about the pitch first, then we'll go to the team combination.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's going to be a pitch. It's going to be a pitch that will turn. They'll probably. Because there's been so much. They've probably received a lot of criticism because of the fact that it was such a rank turner. But I'm still for the fact of using advantage of the pitch. I think that there should be a decent amount of spin. I think that they 3, 4, 5 should spin like that. I just think that they might do a little bit to give some assistance to the batsman on day 1 and 2. Honestly, overall, if you think about it, I just don't want test matches to finish the way they did, like in 2 days. But I think if people apply themselves more, and if the players can actually apply themselves more and play a good innings, I think that even these kind of pitches should be a good way to determine skill as well. I'm still saying that should be a little bit more improvement in the pitch, but at the same time, it shouldn't be like you're putting out a pitch that favors the batsman completely. I don't think that should be the case at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like if it's like 700 runs each side, that will also be determined as a poor pitch, in my opinion. Within the ICC rules, to be honest, from what I read, I think I might be mistaken, but from what I read, I'm sure that this was a poor pitch in terms of the ICC rules, but at the same time, they haven't deducted points or anything like that. But I have a question. In the second test match, would you determine that as a fair pitch? Because in that test match, there was 160 made, there was 100 by Ashwin. Of course, there was Indian batsmen scoring those runs, but there were runs despite the ball turning from day 1 also.
Absolutely, 100%. That's a fair pitch. And it went into day 4. It was a good contest between bat and ball. There were players who scored. Unfortunately, none of the England guys were able to score that much, but that's on them, right? They need to improve their skills in that front, and that's why it's difficult when we go to England and struggle with the seaming delivery. Obviously, questions are asked about our batting performances. So the same thing, right? I just think the third test was a little too much. But I think the second test match was perfect. It was a perfect test match wicket.
So you're okay with that kind of wicket where you do get runs, you can score 100, but at the same time, it is assisting spinners throughout.
Absolutely. That was a perfect test match.
Do you think that this pitch could have been similar? Because I didn't see every ball turning. We saw a lot of wickets, like we said, straight on, but then we saw that odd ball spin. Do you think the pink ball had something to do with the lacquer, the shine? Because we saw in Adelaide as well, the pitch was okay, but the match finished in 2.5 days. This was much shorter. It was like, this was a day and a half. That was 2.5 days or 2 days and a third. But do you think there's something to do with the pink ball there as well? Of course, I'm not denying that the pitch was turning from ball 1. It was, yeah. But do you think there's something to do with the pink ball for the match finishing early?
Even if the pink ball was not used and the red ball was used, I feel like in this game, I think instead of finishing in a day and a half, I would probably finish by the end of the day or at most into first session of day 3. I wouldn't have gone into anything more than that. Done. Yeah, I still think that there's a little bit more that they could have done. I just felt like, the puff of dust that was coming out of every delivery was, I thought that because the pitch didn't hold up at all. It's a new pitch. They could have done a little bit more. I think the second test match was a perfect test match wicket.
If I was Joe Root, I actually wouldn't mind a rank turner because I felt that England got into the game. Because if you take the toss out of the equation, suppose that first test match, India won the toss, then England would have had to face the day 4, day 5 pitch, which would have been very hard, and India would get the good batting thing. So over here, if it's a flat pitch, they'll need to win the toss, England. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for them again. Whereas if it's a rank turner, then England are in the game as much as India, because India haven't played spin as well. It's just like, I think the 140, so 30 more runs than England in the first innings. And the second innings, I think the dew came in, and yes, Rohit and Gill played beautifully, but the pressure was taken off. I think the difference here is the quality of spin. Ashwin and Akshar versus Root and Leach. So I think that's what the difference is. But apart from that, I don't think I would be too concerned if I was the England team. I think, yes, they need to play spin better. So do India. But if Joe Root can take 5 wickets, then why not? I know that's the reasoning behind that. It's a poor pitch, because if he's taking 5 wickets, then it should be, it is the pitch. But at the same time, I think I'll be happy if I'm Joe Root going into the 4-test match on a ranked Turner.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean, he should be expecting it. I'm surprised that they went in with the 3 fast bowlers, even though it was spin test. Can you see that was mistake? Obviously,
I saw a tweet. Sorry to cut you, but I saw a tweet just on that. They thought they were going into Adelaide, not Ahmedabad, for that.
I saw that as well. So I mean, obviously there was a mistake on the England think tank. They made a terrible decision of going with 3 fast bowlers. They didn't read the pitch well at all. So I think that's going to be a definite change. I think that Archer was poor. So I think that Archer will probably take the axe, and they'll probably bring in a Dom Bess and probably a couple more changes depending on who's available and who's not. It's just so hard with England these days to make to make that exact decision until the day of the match.
Yeah.
So.
I feel on a pitch like that, they would have been okay with 2 spinners. And I think Joe Root is a better spinner right now than Bess. I think Root is underestimated. He's not a bad spinner. He's decent. And if you're getting that much assistance, he'll be even better. Maybe they should have gone with the extra batsman, but Dom Bess also provides with the bat. So I think Dom Bess is the likely option going to this test match. Now, looking at the team composition, if you look at India, now it's the red ball. I don't think they're going to change much. You think they go with the 3 spinners and the same batting combination?
I think everything will be same. Obviously, but Bumrah has been sent home for some personal reasons, so that's the option to fill. I was thinking about this, and this could probably be a little bit of a gutsy option. But I was thinking, if Hardik Pandya is fit, bring him into that team in place of Bumrah. It strengthens the batting, and he gives you a few overs with the ball as well. Because you don't really need any too much of spinners. I mean, you don't need too much of fast bowling anyway. The crux of the bowling is done by your spinners, especially Ash and Aksar, and you have Washington sitting in the wings who can also spin the ball. If needed, you can bring in a Bumrah and a Ishant for a few overs here and there, just to give the spinners a rest, and it strengthens your batting a little bit. You just imagine Pandya coming in at 7 after Rishabh Pant, and then you have 8 at Washington. You have a strong batting lineup, 9 and Ashwin. You have a strong batting lineup, so that'll be helpful, I think.
Yeah, I think I would go with Siraj personally, but I think Umesh Yadav is also in the reckoning because they brought him into the squad. He's also in the reckoning. In India, has a really good record, with those short bursts of spells, and he reverses the ball. So Umesh Yadav in the reckoning. The only reason why I'm not totally for that Hardik Pandya call is because I think with the T20 World Cup coming up, I think he should just focus on the limited overs, because we really need an all-rounder in that. I know the World Test Championship is on the line, but they're doing fine without Pandya in the Test arena. Like we saw in Australia and here, they're doing fine without him. I understand your thinking, but I just think if you look at the long term with the T20 World Cup coming up, and then you have these T20s against England, I think they should slowly get him into that series rather than this series, and focus on this. Probably play like a Umesh Yadav or a Siraj, and then Washington Sundar can do the batting.
Yeah, the only reason I wanted Pandya to come in was just because, give him a little bit more match fitness as well. Just bring him in there. He won't have to bowl that many, maybe 4 or 5 overs at max, honestly. And then just, the batting just gives him a little bit to knock the ball around with some quality bowling on the other end, just to get him up to speed. I mean, yes, I understand that the T20s will do that as well. I just think that it'd be nice for him to have a nice run and maybe, score a half century or something. It'd be nice to see that.
Yeah,
but I completely agree with the fact that Siraj would probably be first choice, I think.
He'll be first choice. Even I think that. And for England, Dom Bess, for who would you think? Stuart Broad?
I think Archer, because I thought Archer was poor.
Okay.
I thought that he was not bowling his 140 plus 150 as consistently as I would like to see. I think he was in the mid 130s more often than not, and I just felt like his body language was not good enough for me for someone who's expected to do a little bit more from him. I thought Broad and Anderson both were very good, so I think I'd just stick with both of them, bring in Bess for Archer, and that's the only decision I'd probably take. But of course, I hopefully that they don't have too many changes going in, because I know that Butler is back in now, but I think that
Butler's back,
they probably need. I don't know if he's done with his quarantine and stuff like that. So Foakes probably makes the bet, because I think he's been incredible with the wicket keeper, and he's done okay with the bat as well. Especially in the second Test match. So
Butler's in the Test squad, or he's come for the T20s?
That's what I don't know. I think he's in the squad. I know he's because I saw a tweet by him that he was quarantining. I don't know if that quarantine is complete. I don't know if he's going to be available for the fourth test. With England, you can never tell, man. I mean, it's just becoming too hard to keep track.
Yeah, they've been rotating it a lot. Yeah, to be honest with you, like, I think there's a lot of course, there was a lot of complaints about the pitch. But if you look at the series right now, we've had 3 different kind of pitches. So it's actually been fun, in my opinion. Like, we saw 600 runs in the first game. We saw like a bit more evenish contest, if you would say so. In the third test, toss out of the equation. It was just free for all. I enjoyed that as well. Fourth test, I think I don't know, man. I think it might just turn again, like you said. Maybe it won't turn as much, like you said, they criticized. But India have their World Test Championship on the line. I don't think they want to risk too much, but I think if they stick to the strengths, they don't need a rank turner like that. They need to stick to the strengths, back their bowlers, even if it's a flat wicket. They need to be a bit more disciplined. I think they lacked that energy in the first test match. Maybe it was the quarantine coming after the Australia tour, the high and everything. Now I think they're a bit more focused, so they have that skill. For me, before I go, actually, let me ask you players to watch out for from India and England.
It's simple. I'm going to stick to my classics: Rohit Sharma and Ravichandran Ashwin.
Rohit Sharma and Ravichandran Ashwin. I think, Rohit Sharma has been playing really well in excellent form. He got that 160, then a half century, which was like 100 in the last game. And for England and Ashwin, yes, Ashwin has been unbelievable. 400 wickets. Him and Akshar Patel are doing a brilliant job. But for England,
for me, most importantly, how Jack Leach bowls. I think that because he's obviously the prime spinner, and I think now he's 3 tests old. Also, he hasn't bowled in India well, but I think he has to now learn. It'll be very important to see if he's a quick learner or no, and that'll determine how he elongates his career in especially in overseas conditions, especially in Asian conditions like in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and stuff like that. So I'd like to see if he's improved and if he's learned a little bit over the few days of a break that he's got. The extra 3 days because the test finished quickly, and the couple other days after for the rest days as well. So he's had enough time to go back and see and try to improve certain things about his bowling, and maybe try a few new tricks maybe that he learns over the past few days. And in terms of the batting, I'd want to see obviously Joe Root and Ben Stokes. I mean, these are the usual prime suspects. So
yeah, I think I agree with you there. For Ben Stokes, actually, I really want to see him because he is a match winner. That he has those superhero kind of contributions for England in the recent past. I think they really need that with the series. I wouldn't say would you say on the line for England, but yeah, of course, I think they'll want to draw it. So they're in a away tour when things are going tough. I think he's the guy to look. You look at the guy who's going to give you that boost, who's going to provide you that match-winning knock. I think it's Ben Stokes, and I think, like you mentioned earlier, I think in one of the other episodes that he's been a bit in a shell, and then suddenly he feels the pressure and plays a shot. I think he should be a bit more aggressive, play his shots. I think he needs to be more decisive in his footwork as well. Attack the spinners. Root as well. I think Root is a great player. He's had a really good series, 5 wickets and then double 100. Both of them will need to be a bit more decisive, but that's the thing. They're going to rely on these players. And I think a player to watch out for is Zach Crawley. I think to score a 50 on that wicket, like Rohit Sharma showed, it's not that easy. Only him and Rohit Sharma scored 50. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. And yeah, I think that wraps up. Any last thoughts? What's your prediction? Remember, I said 2-1 and you said 3-1 before the series started.
So I'm sticking to my prediction.
Any rain in Ahmedabad? No, I don't think so.
Probably not. I mean, Indian conditions in March, unlikely that you'll see rain. I expect this to finish in 4 days as well. With a comfortable Indian victory.
And the toss will play a factor, or you think it's going to be okay?
They will make it a more big deal than it needs to be, obviously. But but I don't think it'll be such a big factor. I mean, whoever bats first will have a slight advantage, but it will be the game of the first innings, I think. Whoever scores a little bit fewer more runs in the first innings will probably be advantage into day 3 and 4, which will probably decide the test match, I think.
Yeah, I think perfect, man. Thank you so much. Brilliant thoughts, some great analysis there. I'll catch you throughout the test match. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoyed the game. One last test, and then we'll head into the T20. So just 5 days, stick in there. It's been back-to-back test series. It's been a long thing, but it's been fun. So another 5 days, and then we'll be for the shorter format of the game.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, man. Take care.
You too. Bye.